Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily DVAR Halacha. And here's a brand new Halacha for you. It's for Friday, the 19th day of February. Here we go. So we're going to start a little unit here on blood spots found in eggs. Traditionally, the halacha always was that a blood spot found in an egg makes the whole egg prohibited. But stay tuned for the next couple of days. We're going to give you some of the nitty-gritty. First of all, in today's chicken farms, the chickens that are laying the eggs are usually considered not fertile at all. They couldn't really be laying an egg which would turn into a chicken, and therefore you're not really most commonly in today's chicken farms worried about the fact that a developing embryo is actually inside of that egg that you just found with a blood spot, because most of the chickens of today on the chicken farms are all considered to be infertile, and so no forming embryos are happening inside of those eggs, which is going to be a real marker for making most of these questions quite permitted. But stick with me here on more details. Let's get back to the basics. A blood spot is usually a sign of an embryo. I guess I should have said that first. The sign of an embryo developing. It's not really a sign of blood. It's a sign that an embryo could have been developing inside that egg, and we don't want to eat a developing embryo. In the time of the Gemara, it could have showed two things. Back then, in the time of the Gemara, it could have showed that an embryo was actually forming inside of that egg, and we wouldn't want to be eating it because of that, or some irregularity happened inside of that hen that was laying the egg, and that's why there was blood inside of the egg, and that would be blood, and we wouldn't want to be consuming that blood. Today, which is what you need to know for your questions for today, the facts generally are that the FDA, which oversees the production of the eggs, at least in the United States, makes it that most eggs that are rated A or double A in their, goodness, are candled, and candling is a procedure whereby they get to look inside of the egg kind of and see if there's anything in there, and that candling pretty much makes it that a real blood spot in an egg is rare to be found in today's day and age, and that's another reason to be kind of lenient on this matter, but stay with me. The Ramah says that although technically it depends where exactly in the egg you found the blood spot, but the Ramah in the Shulchan Aruch said that we're not big experts on knowing exactly what's where in the egg, so if the blood spot was found anywhere inside of an egg, we would call it prohibited, because we're not big experts to say, well, I found it in this spot of the egg, so it's going to be okay. He said back a couple hundred years ago that we need to be careful and be strict even if we find any blood inside of the egg. The Shulchan Aruch says all you have to do is remove the blood and then just eat the rest of the egg. The Shach says that you can even eat the blood spot because it's not really blood and it's not really a developing embryo. And the Vilna Gaon said that it's considered a rabbinic prohibition to eat a blood spot, and therefore it's best to try to remove the blood from the egg. Today, where we consider eggs to be generally quite inexpensive, when we see a blood spot inside of an egg, and we might want to be strict according to this quote of the Vilna Gaon and get rid of the blood and not violate a rabbinic prohibition, most people say, hey, an egg is not terribly expensive, and according to the Vilna Gaon, I should be getting rid of that blood spot and not eating it as a rabbinic prohibition. So that's why you will see people customarily toss the egg anyway, because the Vilna Gaon says not to consume that small portion of blood rabbinically, and we are kind of like feel that, okay, so I'll just toss the egg. That's why you commonly see the custom of people tossing an egg when they do find a blood spot inside of an egg. So let's summarize for today, although there's more to follow in the next few days. Generally, according to what we're concluding right now, is that blood spots don't really exist in our eggs today, but the Vilna Gaon says if I see a small bit of blood inside of an egg, I would want to remove that to not violate a rabbinic prohibition, and we who find eggs to be rather affordable today would rather toss the egg rather than go through the procedure of pulling out the little bit of blood from it. And that's why the most common thing for people to do is to throw out the egg still today, even today, when there is a blood spot inside of it. But stay tuned for more. Stay with us after Shabbos. We'll have more on this topic. Thanks for logging on. Have a great Shabbos. Bye-bye.